In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make a really easy but effective transfer portrait. The process is you make a monoprint with oil pastel and then you paint on top of it with watercolours. The reason why it's an easy transfer is because the oil pastels resist the watercolours, so it's easy to keep those watercolours within that oil pastel line. So the first stage of this process is that you get a black oil pastel. You can use any colour, but black works best, and you go all over the back of your photocopy image with the black oil pastel. That works as your image that you will be using for your monoprint. You could use any image that you like. The details of the image that I have used in this tutorial today will be in the description below, along with all of the resources and materials I have used. Links for those will always be in the description below. Once you have put oil pastel on the back of your photocopy, you will then need to get a piece of cartridge paper. I would suggest that you use a thickness above 220 GSM, and then you will need to get some masking tape and stick that to the top of your photocopy. The image will need to be facing downwards with the oil pastel so that when you go over your image with a pen, it will immediately transfer onto your cartridge paper, ready for when you are going to do your painting. So when you remove your image from your cartridge paper, be very careful not to rip the masking tape off of the cartridge paper, and you can go over any areas where the oil pastel has gone onto the paper with a putty rubber and just remove any excess oil pastel that is on your paper before you start painting. Then what you will need to do is stick your paper onto the table with some tape. I would suggest simple washi tape, because that tends not to rip the paper. And if you wanted to take a little bit of the sticky off by sticking it on some fabric beforehand, that would help even more. So stick your paper to the table so that it doesn't warp, or that it reduces the warp, and then you will need to start applying your paints. You can add any colour that you like and be creative, but I have put the palette of paints that I have used on the left hand side so that you can see the colours that I have used, starting with Prussian Blue for the background. The colours that I have used are Cotman by Winsor & Newton half pans, and I am starting by adding a layer of water to absorb into the paper before I start applying my paints with the wet on wet technique. If you enjoyed this clip, then make sure you check out more clips like this in the Watercolour playlist. Don't forget to look in the description below for details of products used in today's clip, and if you have any ideas for content or questions, leave a comment below. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future content.